All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to a solo lane build guide. So I'll be going through basically every warrior, and giving the best build for patch 10.6 or Season of Souls. So let's get started with Achilles. This build is not the right build. This is from last season, so let's get rid of that. And in my opinion, I'm really a big fan of Bluestone so far this season. And one thing to note is that you'll see a lot of the same builds go on for most warriors, just because it's just the most effective build in my opinion, and you'll see which build. But Bluestone was actually lowered by 50 gold, which I think makes it a much more attractive purchase. You can get an extra pot, so if you go tier 1 Glad Shield, for example, you can get 4 pots, which is extremely nice. Helps you a lot. So I think Bluestone is probably the most viable now. I think Axe is also pretty good too. So these two are my choices personally, but I like Bluestone. It also helps you have more damage late game, because as you'll see, we're gonna go a lot of tank instead of damage. So in my opinion, I think Phalanx is actually one of the best defense items, at least for like ranked and like casuals and stuff like that, because it gives 50 base physical prot, and it also gives 21 extra phys prot when it's stacked, and 21 magic prot, and 30% attack speed, which makes it just an overall good item. Because a lot of fizzy items now are actually pretty low on the defense, but Phalanx actually has the highest, I believe, at 71 phys prot at max stacks. So and it's pretty easy to get stacks in a team fight or in lane, because you're always gonna be getting hit. So and yeah, like someone in chat said, Glad Shield feels so bad. I also agree, Glad Shield doesn't feel that great, but it does help you do damage, and it gives you cooldown. You know, cooldown is a pretty essential stat, but it just makes you, it just 40 fizz prod just does not feel good. And what's up, Bexy? And in case you guys didn't know, this is being streamed on Twitch at twitch.tv/SoloOrTroll, and links in the description. So next item is going to be Midgardian Mail. I think Midgardian Mail is one of the best items because it just got hardcore buffed. Now has 4 stacks, so it's a pretty great item overall. It has pretty good stats, like not the craziest, like decent stats for a decent price. Overall, pretty decent, and the passive is extremely OP. So these two coupled will make you really hard to kill in the mid game. And next we're gonna go Hardwood Amulet Glyph upgrade. Now these three combinations, this three combination of items will make you extremely tanky, just because these, you know, you're stacking fizzy. Both these items help you live a lot. Like if they auto attack you, you're getting attack speed, prots, and slowing them. They're slowing their attack speed and movement speed. So this is a really good combination. And this is going to give you on the order of like 100 prots total by late game. So it's kind of just the most stat efficient items in the game. Shortly after, I like going an item that has both procs and health on it. So things like Stone and Binding, maybe Spikes, Arc Druids, Abyssal Stone, Erode, like these kind of items. I like Spirit Rub as well. I think I mostly go Spirit Rub. Just because, again, you just keep getting tankier and tankier. It's contrary to popular belief, actually. People say we're in a tank meta, which, I mean, maybe we are. I feel like things change a lot, and perception changes a lot, and there are actually a lot of ways to kill a tank extremely easily. You have Sunder, you have E-Staff, you have Xe, Chin Size, you have 40% pen cap now. A lot of easy to get pen on mage items, so, you know, Coin, Tahuti, stuff like that. People even go like Reaver as well. I mean, these options have always existed, but they got a little bit better this patch, even though the power was decreased. And one thing to note is that defense was also decreased by 15%, but power was decreased by 30% as well. So that would mean in theory that warriors are better because their stats got hit less. But if you think about it, the health also got hit. Like the health and the prots got hit. So it's like you're kind of getting a double whammy of like getting owned. You know what I mean? It's obviously not as bad as the power nerfs, like for example, you know, Deathbringer's 30 power now, which is kind of laughable. Like this is still okay, but like, I mean, 40 fizz prot, 150 health. Are you really happy buying this? I feel like you aren't. So I don't know. I feel like tanks need to find the highest defense possible. So this is what I would recommend. These 4 core items here, and let me just put this here as well. So far we have this, and this will make you extremely tanky. See, this is without Achilles passive. This is without your 2, without the Heartward Amulet passive counting, without Phalanx passive counting. You're at 213, 170, which is pretty good now, and 3k health. Like just 5 items in. Let's say level 20. So last item, in my opinion, you can afford to go a little bit of damage if you want. This is also a bit risky, but I like going beat stick. Just because it has really good space stats, 40 physical power, 15 flat pen. Definitely pretty solid. Some other good items are Bloodforge. You might have seen me buy this in SPL before. It has really good stats, and another good item is Shadow Drinker, although the power is kind of pathetic now. But I mean, it's only 5 less than beat stick, so it's not too bad. But you do get some really nice stats from this. Although you do more damage with beat stick, and the passive is better on beat stick. So I recommend beat stick. Another last item I like to go is Frostbound. I think Frostbound is extremely good right now. I would recommend you try it out. I don't know if you just watched the last game. Chris went Axe, Vitalizer, Glad, Shield, and Guard, Contagion, Heartward, and get 100k, 50k. Yeah, and I saw it. It's build definitely good. And like I said, like builds can change. You might see me. You probably are going to see me build a different build, do a different build in SPL. But this build, in my opinion, is extremely solid. Just overall. For ranked, for casuals, you know, for like arena, like you're gonna be really hard to kill with this. The biggest downside is that you do not have a lot of cooldowns. So maybe one thing you could do late game is go another CDR item, which maybe would be like Jotun's Wrath, maybe. But that is a problem. You're not gonna have a lot of cooldowns. So I would recommend going I don't know, Jotun's Last is kind of weird. And going Prudent Last is okay, but it's a bit weird on Achilles, and it's a bit weird without the glyph upgrade. So I mean, you know, I'd say use your own judgment here. But usually I think if you go like a 500 pot, you get 10% cooldown. Passively, you get 10% cooldown on warriors, and Spirit Robe gives you another 10. So you're at 30%, which isn't too bad late game. So, but just keep in mind, you're going to be a little bit low on cooldown. So that's Achilles build, and Amaterasu is going to be the same exact thing, except with Death Soul, and with the chin size instead of beat stick, and with the Berserkers potentially as well, last item. So yeah, the same thing. You would want to go Phalanx. You can also go Berserker Shield and Phalanx at the same time. This is pretty solid, but like I said, Midgardian Mail is just such a good item in general that it's hard to skip over. But if you want to be more aggressive and auto attack more, you can go this, and then this, and then this. Sorry, this, and then chin size. So this would be very good. Up next is Bellona, which, surprise, surprise, is going to be the exact same thing. I think this actually makes Bellona pretty solid because she counters auto attackers really easily. And we're going to go Heartward, Glyph Upgrade, of course. Pretty much the same exact build. I think this build is really good. And your situational items can be... can be Chin Size, Frostbound, and whatever you want. Berserker Shield. Where is it? There it is. So these are 3 spare items. I would always recommend you going at least Phalanx, Heartward, Spirit Robe every game. And yeah, warriors get base cooldown every level. So mages get base power, assassins get base flat pen, hunters get base auto attack damage, and guardians get base CCR. So that kind of helps warriors with their cooldown management in this season, in year 10. I think you should always go chin size on Bellona though. I'd always recommend chin size. So this is the build I would say. Now you can do something crazy. This is like barbaric. You're a maniac if you do this, right? But if you're a crazy man or woman, you can go hastened after these items. You go hastened and then chin size, and this would actually make you do a lot of damage. Although you're gonna be a little bit lacking on the prots, as you can see, but it won't be that bad because Bellona passive gives you prots, your bulk gives you prots, so that's something I'd recommend. With Chaac, I would always recommend Bluestone 100% of the time on Chaac. I wouldn't really go anything else. Maybe Tainted, but I think Bluestone's just so good on Chaac. And honestly, you can go either Phalanx or Glad Shield. I think Chaac is pretty tanky, so you don't need to like stack full defense. I think having Glad Shield helps you do more damage. So honestly, I would say Glad Shield into probably Midgardian Mail. Honestly, this is so good on Chaac because it pairs well with his 3. So you can go Phalanx or Glad Shield. Totally up to you. And then again, the same thing, Heart Ward. And then again, the same thing, Sphere But also, Sonnet Binding is also another good substitution for Spirit Robe. I would recommend it, although Chaac likes cooldown, so up to you. You can put a little bit of power on Chaac too if you want. Again, something like Brawlers is okay. Trans used to be the go-to Chaac item, but it's really hard to build Trans now because it's not hard, but it just doesn't feel that good to build Trans anymore, honestly. But I mean, you can go Trans first if you want. But if you go Trans, then you're going to be delaying your Glad Shield, Midgardian Mail, and Amulet. And yeah, Tommy did recommend Vital Amplifier, which I think honestly, Vital, it looks really good. But honestly, I built this so many times. I've tested this a lot in scrims, in ranked. Every time I build it, I just don't do any damage. I'm squishy, and it just does not feel good. I don't know why. I just don't like it. But it is something you can always look to if you want. You can go something like Bluestone here. You can go Bluestone into Vital Amplifier at the start, probably. And then into Glad Shield. You can even go like Glad Shield first, or you could do something insane like go Phalanx, and then Vital Amplifier, and then Heart Ward. I would go if you do this strat, I would go Heart Ward just to base Heart Ward and not upgrade yet. And then you go Midgardian Mail, and then you upgrade Heart Ward, and then you go last item. You can even go like Chin Size last item. But the problem with this though is that you're gonna be pretty low on defense, like not crazy low, but you're not gonna be like really tanky. But you will do damage, so like, I think this build could be solid. So yeah, you can even go Redstone too. Redstone is like, you know, is actually pretty decent because they nerfed the power or the damage of this. 160 over 2 seconds plus 12% of the health. This is 250 over 5 seconds plus prot plus anti-attack speed plus protections. So that's pretty good. But again, it does not stack with your Midgardian Mail, so keep that in mind. But it doesn't really matter too much. You can also go something like a Sigil if you want to be really tanky or tainted, but then your lane's not gonna be as good. So I would say use your own, use your own discretion, I'd say, with this. But pretty decent build would be like just the same core that I've been building this whole time. Something like this. This will make you really hard to kill. Then you can even throw like a Chin Size last item, or a Vital Amplifier last item, or a Beat Stick last item, and whatever you want. Why not Regrowth? Regrowth was actually nerfed. I tested it a little bit. It feels okay, but it just does not feel fantastic like it did before. 20% move speed is good still. 45 proc is good. Like the stats are good. The cost is good. It's solid. But is it the best? I mean, I don't know. Last year was good because the passive does kind of scales well into late game. But the passive was indirectly nerfed because of having less prots overall. So that's something to keep in mind. And it was also directly nerfed just because you have all the pro items were nerfed. So, yeah, I mean, you can try it for sure. Like the first defense item is kind of just up to you. Like if you want to go breastplate, this is like just to be fast. This is to do more damage, and this is to be tankier and have more attack speed. So it's up to you. Fast, damage, tanky. They're all gonna function kind of similar. So up to you. And then this is really good. I'd recommend this 100% of the time on Chaac, just because if you're in a team fight, they're all going to focus you. They're all going to shoot their arrows at you, shoot, their auto attacks at you, and you're going to lower all their attack speed and move speed by a lot. Coupled with your rain as well. Next up, Chulainn. I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster here, just so we don't waste too much time. Chulainn, Bluestone again, and for Chulainn, honestly, I think Glad Shield is too good on him not to go, so I would say Glad Shield, but you can go Phalanx as well if you want. I just think Glad Shield is the way. This is the way. Next, Midgardian, of course, I think it's just a solid buy, but you can go something like Spikes potentially, just good in your rage form. But I like Midgardian Mail. Again, the same build. This is like universally good on pretty much every character, in my opinion. Next we will go whatever you want, honestly. I think Prism could be pretty good, but again, you're not gonna have the glyph upgrade, so maybe it's not that good actually. Size is good. Brawlers would be okay, but Crossbound is pretty good. Show Hades build? Yeah, sure, I can show Hades build. I'll do a couple random gods. Archdruids. Like you can do a few of these things, but I think Frostbound's probably the best. So I'm gonna put Frostbound in the first slot just because I think Frostbound's the best. But again, the last slot is kind of just whatever you're feeling, whatever you want. It can even be Abyssal Stone, it can be Mantle, flip like a Fenrir. It could be Spikes, it can be Deathbringer, whatever you want, last item. I recommend some taking this though, because Chulainn does not have built-in protections or mitigation, so you're gonna be a little bit on the Swisher side. He does have his health and his rage form, but obviously it's not the same. So this is what I would go with. And also one thing to note, Frostbound does not stack with Midgardian Mail, so it is technically inefficient to build them together, but I think they both serve different purposes. You know, I think if you get a blink auto Frostbound on everyone in a team fight, they're going to be running for the hills. So, yep. And I forgot to mention relics as well, so I'll go for relics. For Achilles, I would say going Sunder is really good. Sunder or Beads is really good. Bellona, I'd probably say Beads for the most part. Chaac, you probably want Blink Teleport. You don't really need Beads too much unless they're really CC heavy. Chulainn, I'd recommend Beads or Blink. You can go Sunder too if you want to do damage, but I'd recommend Beads or Blink. Blink is really good on Chulainn, but if you need Beads, go Beads. But if you don't need Beads, definitely go Blink. And so for Erlang next, it's gonna be of course the same shit as freaking always. Although on Erlang, honestly, I would say going Phalanx. Honestly, Berserkers might be better on Erlang. I'm not too sure. But for now, we'll just do this. And then we'll do Heartwood Glyph again. Then honestly, I think you could just go Berserker Shield, honestly. That's what I would do. And then I would go Chin Size last item. Now this is a bit dangerous because you're going to be a little bit low on Magic D. This number is going to be higher though because you're going to have the Heartward passive, obviously. But I think you'll probably be okay. I think Chin Size is essential on this god, so I would always go Chin Size. However, I think Erlang is just not that great. And so for relics, for Erlang, you want probably to teleport and probably Beads. Erlang doesn't have any CC Moody, but Blink is also good. And Sunder might be okay. You please should. I read that. Is Archdruid's Fury a good item to build on auto attack gods? It's okay. It's alright. You have to be mindful of like when you use the proc. So that's an Erlang build, and Gilgamesh. I mean, I'd probably say Gilgamesh honestly is best with Bluestone just because it helps him clear the wave. But he can be good with Sigil, so you're gonna have a really rough early game. So I would go Bluestone into again the same stuff. I think Phalanx is really good on him. Guardian Mail obviously is pretty good. Hardwood Glyph, of course. I watched the last SCC game, yes. I watched the last one. That's pretty much it. And then here I like Spirit Robe just for the cool, like the extra cooldown. And just because when you're getting in there as Gilgamesh, they're gonna be CCing you. You don't have any CC immunity, so having Spirit Robe helps a little bit. Then last item, I like Chin Size on him a lot. It was nerfed, so you know, that in mind for everyone else as well. Manticore Spikes is good on him because you can proc it a lot. Binding is good. Midwind is pretty good. This is what I would say. And also one thing to mention, another build you can do, and you can do this for all the other ability-based gods, except for Nike and maybe like Wukong, like a few of the auto attack gods. You can do something like this too. Let's see. Like Glad Shield, Manticore Spikes into Pridwin, Glorious Pridwin upgrade, into like Midgardian Mail, into like Stone of Binding or Spirit Robe or whatever you want. Any last item. This is actually a solid build. It's not too bad. Problem with this build is you're gonna have probably magic defense actually. You're just gonna have pretty low magic defense. So getting something like Genji's Guard helps, or Oni Hunters, or Pestilence even. So yeah, I'd probably say yeah, like this would be okay because you get a little bit, but you're gonna be a bit low on magic defense and might not feel that great. I think this build was really popular a few days ago, but I think this build fell off a little bit. I think it's still solid though. So yeah, you can build this if you like. That's you. Guan Yu. Well, the thing with Guan Yu is like I think he was suited for the other build way better. Some of the items on him don't work too well. Like Phalanx is not great on Guan Yu. So I mean, one build I like is, you know, Bluestone into probably Glad Shield. It's cheap and it's solid. It works on well on Guan Yu. And then I like going probably either Midgard probably or Breastplate Regrowth. Any other one of those two, but probably Midgardian Mail. Then I actually like going Genji's Guard for the cooldown because you're not gonna have much cooldown in this build. And then I go. What else do I go? I go Cat Club. And then I go Stone of Binding. So it's pretty solid. Kind of low on magic defense. 159 is not going to be fantastic, but if you kind of play safe and don't dive too hard on the mages, you'll be fine. If they have something like a Merlin or like a super high damage mage, I'd recommend going something else like maybe Oni Hunters or Pestilence or something. Just, you know, if they're mage, if they have Paul on the other team, I'd recommend, or you know, Pagon Merlin, I'd recommend going some defense, but otherwise you can afford to go like Stone of Binding. And you can also go Stone of Binding before Cat Club. It's up to you. It's like Cat Club just for the healing, for the team play. But if you're not playing with your team, and maybe Stone of Binding is better. So that's what I would recommend for Guan. And again, you can also go Regrowth instead of Midgardian Mail, but I think Midgardian Mail is just really good, so I'd recommend that. Hercules, the same thing. With Herc though, you can go any of the starters you want, probably. But I'd recommend Bluestone just because it's solid. It helps him clear the wave. I like Phalanx, obviously, same build. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but I do think these items are pretty solid, at least for like majority of players. And Glad Shield's good here too, but I like Phalanx a lot. Then this slot, I like Stone of Binding or something like a Beat Stick. Or maybe Frostbound. Like, I think these items are pretty solid last items for Herc. Can go Pridwin, but I mean, not going Pridwin, like not going the Glyph is not great on Hercules, so I think that would not feel too great. But having CDR on a Herc is really nice, and having this Glyph, or sorry, this this Breastplate Regrowth is really nice on Herc. So the thing about Herc is like it just doesn't feel that great, honestly. Like these are the best items. Not having full CDR on Herc and not having Regrowth feels really bad on Herc. So I'd say try playing around with it. You can even go like the Regrowth first item into Midgardian Mail. It wouldn't be too bad. You'd be a bit lower on the prots, but it's not that big of a deal. Good to get Midgardian Mail potentially. You're just gonna have pretty low health, but wouldn't be too bad. So I'd say experiment a little bit and see what works for you. Like a lot of building is like building on the fly, kind of building what you like and what, you know, what feels good to you. Horus, I'd still go Gunblade and Horus, is just kind of essential. I'd probably go the same build on Horus, honestly. Then go Manticore Spikes. This build is a lot of fun. Some situational items could be like Cat Club. The Guardian Mail is always pretty good. Spirit Robe can be good. So this is what I would build. This is core. I would go this every game on Horus. I would never not go this, probably. And then you have situationals like Manticore, Stone of Binding. I always last match used to always go Binding and Cat Club because they were just perfect eye for him. You get a lot of cooldown. You get max cooldown with this build. You get Prot Shred, which also helps on top of your other Prot Shred, and you have your team movement speed. Like, you're just a big team player with this, and you're really fast. So I'd recommend this. Still, Horus is a lot of fun. Still, King Arthur. I really enjoyed King Arthur recently. I think he's a lot of fun. I think go Glad Shield, and here I actually like going Meteor Spikes more on Arthur, and then Glorious Fridwin. I like this over the other build, but the other build is still fine. And so here I like going Stone of Binding just because you're low on magic defense at this point. You're 119, which is pretty low, so Stone of Binding gives you a little bit of both. And then I go Midgardian Mail last. And again, with this build, you're still going to be low on magic D, so of course, if you need magic D, I'd recommend going Genji's or whatever you want. Even Heartward, even. You can also go Genji's Guard after this here and be full CDR, and you'll be spinning around. That's for sure. So yeah, I'd say this is like pretty core on him. I like this a lot because you have a lot of ways to proc spikes. Your big ult, your small ult, your knockup, all pretty good ways. You can also just go the other build as well. You can go Glad Shield into Midgard, into Genji's, or Heartward Glyph, up to you. Either one works. Into like, you know, Spirit Robe and Stone of Binding. This is also really solid as well. I like Genji's Guard on Arthur because the MP5 and the cooldown is really nice. So this you'll be full CDR with your passive, with the warrior passive. So I would recommend this also. It depends on what you like more, honestly. Both are pretty good. Mulan, kind of the same deal as Arthur. You could also go Axe as well, though. Axe and Mulan is pretty good. And another fun way to play Mulan, although it's not great and it's a little bit hard, Sigil with exploding infused Sigil is a lot of fun on Mulan. Because you're going to blink in, or you're going to pull someone and then ult in. They're all going to be hitting you. You get 20% extra proc in her ult. I believe 20%, yeah. 30%. You get 30% extra proc in her ult. And you're going to be doing damage to them while they're hitting you. So that's a lot of fun, but again, it's more of like a fun thing to do. It's kind of hard to pull off. I'd say if you're skilled at SoloOrTroll or Mulan, I'd recommend it, but otherwise not. Definitely go Glad Shield in Mulan. Actually, honestly, Phalanx works too, honestly. I've gone Phalanx in Mulan recently, and it actually felt pretty good. So, I'd just probably say Axe, probably. Axe or Bluestone, I don't know. Either one works. Into Phalanx. And then Midgardian Mail I like too. Probably is the best here. And the same thing. Europe as well. It's probably what's good too, but also and yes, some situationals are feel like Stone of Binding, Frostbound. Mantle's really good on Mulan. You go with Spikes last item as well. That's what I would recommend. But another build you can do is kind of the other Spikes Pridwin build. It's pretty solid on Mulan. Something like this, maybe this. Midgard last item. Not too bad. Pretty solid build. Either one works. It's up to you. Hello, Retrowave. We're doing a SoloOrTroll build guide. And also, I've got relics, but for relics on Guan Yu, you want teleport beads primarily. Maybe teleport Sunder. Gilgamesh, you want teleport Blink or beads if you really need beads. Hercules, TP Blink, but go beads if you really need it. Horus, I love going Blink first, so I go Blink. I go Blink into I go blink in straight into beads on Horus always. You can maybe go Sunder if you don't need beads, but I always go blink for sure. Arthur, teleport, blink, but if you need beads, go beads. I go beads very often on Arthur because he kind of needs beads. If they have any sort of high CC or cripple, I'd recommend going beads. Mulan, probably beads to teleport. For Nike. I'd say Bluestone helps her clear the wave a lot. It's really nice. Just for clearing. Then I'd say probably Glad Shield. I think Nike items are not too great right now, so personally, I would not recommend her. But this is something you could try. Of course, if you like Nike, go for it. So we got this. Then I also like Amulet of the Stronghold because you know, just really solid item in general on Nike as well as every other god. Spirit Robe, of course. And then last item, you can do whatever you want. Spikes is good. Binding is okay. Maybe Beat Stick, but I wouldn't really do that on Nike. I think having the most defense possible is the best. Mantle is probably okay. Help is generally nicer on Nike, I'd say. But like, she doesn't have great items like she used to. Like, she used to have like Blackthorn and like Mystical Mail. Used to be great for her, but you know, with everyone going Sunder nowadays because of, you know, tank meta, Nike gets kind of owned, as well as Ankh being pretty good. Achilles XQ buff, Arthur, you know, getting slightly buffed with Bluestone being cost reduced. She doesn't win lane too well, so I don't know. But this is probably what I'd build on her if I were to play her, and I'd probably go teleport and blink on her, but you can go beads as well because you have a jump for engage, which is okay. But I think blink ulting is really good. Odin, kind of the same deal. Odin works best with CDR, and I think the CDR build isn't too great. They're to be kind of squishy, but I'd recommend going stuff like Glad Shield. Or honestly, you can do straight into Breastplate on Odin because he needs mana, so going like this is a pretty solid start. Like, you're gonna be pretty tanky, hard to kill early game. And then something like this is fine. This is what I used to do. This used to be really good. Then you go stun and binding, and like this is good. You're gonna be pretty tanky with this and have full CDR with your warrior passive. And then last item can be kind of whatever you want. Like spikes is okay. I like Spirit Robe. The problem is though, you're gonna overcap. I think Midgarden is probably the best last item. Spirit Robe is okay, but you're gonna overcap CDR. So yep, I'd go Midgarden Mill here probably. It's a pretty solid build. And then on Odin, of course, I like going TP and Blink. Although again, if you really need beads, go beads. Sunder is also like Sunder is also pretty solid on every soul laner, but beads, teleport blink and teleport beads is usually just a staple. No Pridwin. Yeah, Pridwin is pretty good on Odin, but let's see. Like you can go like this build too if you want. I've tried this build and it does not feel that great on Odin, honestly. So like I don't want to recommend you guys something that doesn't feel that great to me. You can go this and then you go like maybe Stone of Binding and then like a Midgardian Mill probably. This wouldn't be too bad, but it doesn't feel that good. Something about it just doesn't hit that hard. But if you go things like Fire Blink and you cage someone and 3 them and then they jump out of it, it's like Odin cage damage or 3 damage, Mentor spikes if you stun them, Pridwin damage. So you could do a lot of damage with this, but I'm more of a fan of the other build. And also one thing overall I'd recommend, and I'm sorry I keep doing this, but for Blink, always go the Fire Blink, or not always, but most of the time you go the Fire Blink just because you can get a lot of damage off actually. And like blink behind them and just get a ton of damage off. For Osiris, honestly, as an Osiris lover, I love Osiris, but it's just, you know, Yeah, he's seen better days. He's seen better days. I don't know which starter is the best to go on him. Bluestone historically has been really weird on Osiris. But all these kind of are okay. I'd probably say Death Soul is the best though. So I'd probably go Death Soul. Death Soul into Phalanx because he'll be really tanky. Into probably mid Guardian Mail, but I mean this is not gonna feel that great either. What you can do is go Glad Shield as well. So Glad Shield, mid Guardian Mail. This feels okay, but it's like doesn't feel great either. So I don't know. In some ability did, but I can go back and show you. And then I'd go this probably, and then Spirit Robe just because it's really good on Osiris. And then honestly, probably Chin Size, but it's like not gonna feel fantastic. I don't like right axe upgrade on anyone, honestly. It's a great question. If you try it, you'll realize it does very little damage. However, the stats are very good. 30, 30, 250 is very good. This is 30 power, 225, 25. So this, you know, this is way better, but for stats, but the passive on this is way better. If they were to buff this passive like 4% or 3.5, it'd be a lot better, but for now it's not too great. And yeah, I have no clue to put on A warriors. Yeah, I'd say if you build this on auto attack warriors like Bellona, you're gonna do well every single game. I promise. Not on, sorry, excuse me, not on Osiris, but on most like gods like Bellona, Amma, you'll do pretty well. Do things like Frostbound as well. It's pretty good on him. But I'm a big fan of Chin Size just because it helps you do damage in the late game. Problem is though, Death Soul gives you no tankiness, so you gotta be a little bit careful. Death Soul is mainly just good for the early game. You could even like sell it, honestly. I think like Frostbound or something, or like Mantle. That'd be pretty crazy. Up to you. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Runeforge, and will you be building it on anyone? I tried Runeforge a little bit, and it didn't seem too great, honestly. It seemed fine. Like, it seemed okay, not OP, which is good. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a niche for it. I built it on Thor, and I did the fire one, and it was okay. It just did very little damage. But, I think it does have some value on, like, Thor, for example. Other than that, I'm not too sure. And also for Osiris, I'd go... For the relics, I'd go teleport and blink. Not having blink on Osiris feels terrible, honestly. I would go blink every game on Osiris, no matter what. Shiva, God, I fucking hate Shiva. If you watch my stream, you know how much I fucking hate Shiva. I would rather delete Shiva from the game than cure world hunger, honestly. If I had $1 billion right now, I would absolutely buy Hyris and delete Shiva. That's what I would do. Fuck everything else, dude. Fuck, you know, fuck lifting my community out of poverty. I'm getting rid of Shiva, bro. I'm just kidding, by the way. I'm just kidding. I would not do that. I would definitely use it for good. Like getting rid of Shiva. Anyway, so okay live, the GOAT Shiva of all time. A common occurrence in my stream, and one of my many villains. One of the great villains of ranked. He likes Manticore. Spikes first. I think it's probably really good on Shiva. I would always go Manticore Spikes on Shiva, especially now that it's buffed. Like, what does he build next? Wait. History. I played Shiva recently, actually. This is what I built. It didn't feel that good. This felt pretty good. So I'd recommend this because the Epi 5 helps you a lot, and then the Glad Shield is overall good. And then I like this, like I showed earlier, or Genji's, or this. Any one of these. I'm pretty sure it does proc on his one. The thing that doesn't proc though is Binding does not proc on his one. But I'm honestly like 99% sure Manticore Spikes procs on Shiva 1. I'm 99% sure. Although it does not work on Summon Binding though. So I'd recommend this or this. So what's up, Dishonored? How you doing, buddy? This. Alright, any one of these. I'm not too sure. I'm sure the Dishonored goat, the Shiva goat Dishonored also knows, but like this is probably pretty solid. This is better for tankiness. This is better. Honestly, this is not better. Honestly, I'm getting rid of this shit. It's better for CDR. Oni Hunters is good if you don't need a crazy amount of magic D and you want a little bit of more protection versus like physicals, but honestly, I'd get rid of the other thing. Go test 4-star Shiva. I'll test after this video. So we'll see. I'd say this and then probably, honestly, fuck knows what we build next, honestly. I don't fucking know. With this. And then this. Probably what I would do. I mean, these are just always good items on everyone. It's pretty solid overall. I recommend this. You know what? Let's go test right now. Let's go test right now. Sorry for those of you who are watching this on YouTube. Someone in chat is saying the Manticore Spikes does not proc on Shiva 1, and we're gonna go see who's right. Let us see. This is a learning experience for everyone, because I don't play enough Shiva to know this. Why don't you see my Shiva level? I'm the Shiva level 4. $1,000. Okay, this Midgie is betting $1,000 on this.
I was there.
A load of love is saying it does not work.
When it is all over.
He said he's okay. So okay, here's the situation. A lot of love in chat says it does not work on Shiva 1 Manticore Spikes, and Midgie is saying $1,000 it works. Dishonored is saying he has 2 stars and it does work. I'm saying I'm level 4 and I'm pretty sure it works. So we're gonna see right now. All right, ready? Here it comes. Here's the wait for it. Wait, hold on. It's gonna come. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh. Oh. Damn. That's 4 stars of Shiva right there, my friend. That was a fun bet. That was a fun low test. Means good to know, because honestly, I was not 100% sure. Because binding does not work. So. Next up, Sun Wudong. I'm a big fan of Sun Wukong. I would go this, and then I would go this. Then I would go Zeus. You can also go Genji's as well, but again, you're gonna be lower, you know, you're trading cooldown for tankiness. It's up to you. Summon Binding or Spirit Robe is very good. But I'm a big fan of going Frostbound. I think usually I go Spirit Robe just for the cooldown. But I also I like Frostbound a lot on him. Now remember, Frostbound and Midgardian do not stack, but it stacks with this too. So I highly recommend Frostbound on Wukong every game. I think it's core. And then here it's either Summon Binding or Spirit Robe. But Frostbound is basically a bigger Wukong too. So it's pretty solid. And they both stack with each other. So, and of course I would go Blink Beads. Sorry, Teleport Blink on Wukong all the time. Maybe Beads if they have like a ton of CC, and I would also recommend going Sunder as well. Blink Sunder is good too, but Teleport Sunder is good. Blink Sunder would be the best combination, but you know, and Blink Beads would also be the best combination, but you kind of do need Teleport, so But any combination of TP, beads, blink, sunder, teleport, all good. I said teleport twice. And Shiva's teleport, blink is pretty good. Surtr. I like Bluestone. Axe is good on him as well. I like Bluestone for the wave clear though. And you go Phalanx or Glad Shield. Honestly, either one is pretty good. Probably Phalanx just for the attack speed is pretty nice on this god. And then honestly, Midgard. Having CDR on him is not gonna feel great though. Then probably Spirit Robe. Yeah, this is the same build, but not having attack speed is not gonna, or not having cooldown is gonna feel pretty rough on him. Frostbound is good. Sonnet Binding is good. Mantle is good because you're getting TC chained and locked down. You can get your ult off if you go Mantle. Maybe Chin Size. One thing you can do is you can go a starter and then go like Vital Amplifier. I'm not a big fan of this personally. I think it's not too great, but you can do it, and it's probably okay. It's probably fine. It's to give you a ton of attack speed. You do this, and then you do this. Like this is probably a good build too, honestly. Like this is fine for sure. Like this is really good as well. I'm just not a huge fan of it. Sigil Frostbound. You like Sigil and straight into Frostbound Rush? Or like you just go both at the same time? Back to Wukong, yeah, sure. Yeah, I also tried Frostbound Rush and it felt pretty decent, but when the jungler comes, it does not feel great if your Frostbound proc is down. This is Wukong right here. This is my favorite build on Wukong. I go this pretty much every game. Here, boy, always Bluestone, and Glad Shield, always Glad Shield in my opinion, and Mentor Spikes. I always go these three now. And then I go Genji's Guard. And then I go Ridwin. Sometimes you can go this instead. This is a pretty decent build. Or you can go like Glorious Pridwin. Go like this. Well, this is pretty good. And then you just go like Guardian Mill. Then like maybe Sonnet Binding or maybe Hardward, whatever you want. But I'm a big fan of just going these 4 core or these 3 core, then like Blink Guardian later on. So this is what I'd recommend. And always go TP. Actually, not always. You can go Blink. You can go Blink first on tier sometimes if you want to make plays early game. It's pretty fun, but it's safe to go TP and then Blink or Beads if they have a lot of CC. It's dope. Yeah, Midgard is really nice. I mean, I love going this with Osiris. Death Toll, Phalanx, Chin Size, Oni, Spirit, and last item defense. Yeah, that's kind of similar to my build on Osiris that I have. This is my build. Phalanx, Chin Size, Midgard. Really good. I think Chin Size helps him do a lot of damage late game. Could be that content playable. Yeah, honestly, I mean, Vamana, dun dun dun. This god was stomping on heads extremely hard. All the starters are pretty good on him. This god was going crazy. One of the most OP gods like of all time, probably. Like if you got this god in the competitive Smite and SPL, it was an insta win. Like you have I would have to try really hard to lose a game with Vamana. So for a build, like I guess you go Golden Blade. Just not feeling that good. This is what I'd probably go. Then probably into Heartward Glyph. Then probably Midgardian Mail. And then last item, I'd go Hastened. Right here. Then last item, probably Midgard. Of course, you can go Chin Size if you're crazy. Could be a Bluestone abuser, honestly. He could be pretty decent in Bluestone. I mean, I was thinking, honestly, I was like Loki gonna try Vamana again. Because, like, everyone stopped playing him. No one played him. Literally everyone stopped playing him now. So it's like, what if he's good? You know? Like, this always happens where, like, hires will, like, nerf a god. And then everyone stops playing him. What if he's good? I don't know. But, like, I played Vamana the first game of season 10. Or, sorry, of Season of Souls. And it felt horrible. I ulted, and then I literally got 2 autos off, and then deformed, and that was pretty sad. Yeah, the build path is definitely weird. I think this is a solid build path though. I like Phalanx a lot, and like these 2 items are like you get like the most value for the gold out of these 2 items. Of any defense items, I think that's why I like them the most. So you can afford to like fit other like you know, attack speed and shit like that with them. But it's like losing for 6 soul has to be terrible. Yeah, losing for 6 soul is definitely pretty bad. I could see him being good versus like tick damage gods, maybe gods like Marty or like maybe like Merlin, but it's just not great, honestly. I was thinking of a strat of like trying to just rush tier 2 Golden Blade. Like this is like okay, this is like a technology right here, right? This is like a high tech like area. This is area 51. So you go Golden Blade. Let me unbuild all this. You rush Golden Blade. Then you go like Phalanx, right? They're kind of the same build, right? Pretty similar build. Probably, and then you go here, you go Passion. And then, actually no, okay. Would not be going this. You'd go this. And then you'd probably go this. And then you go Compassion. Probably. This has magic defense, right? Yeah, so I'd probably do this. The kitchen is probably on fire. And then this. And then like, probably like this for more magic D, because having only 50 is not too great. Something like that. Or what I do sometimes, honestly, is I go this tier 2, and then I go Compassion, and then I go Hastened. So it'd be like this and this, and Chin Signs. But you're gonna have way more magic D than Phys D. So this build probably is pretty bad. Maybe just go like this actually. Because the thing with Compassion is that in a team fight, Compassion, like if your teammates take damage, your ult lasts way longer. Yeah, probably doesn't scale for some reason. But so if you're ulting in a team fight and all teammates within 70 units, so basically the entire fight, if they take damage, it is directed to you up to a maximum of 100 damage. So every auto attack, every bluestone tick, every tick of anything, every minion tick, everything goes back to you. And so this in turn makes your ult last longer. So that would be the way to have Colossal Fury for the entire fight. Otherwise, you're going to be in there for like 4 seconds. However, you're going to get fucking railed early game if you rush Golden Blade. But this is like experimental. And the problem is, you need to be level 15 to get Compassion. So if you go Phalanx, right? And let's say you go Phalanx Midgard, like this be, or like Phalanx Berserker Shield, right? This would be a pretty solid, you know, either one of these two would be a pretty solid, you know, double Phys D. You'd be pretty tanky versus physicals. Next, you want to go Compassion, right? Which you can do, but you're going to be delaying your magic D by a while. So it doesn't feel great. You could probably do this. And then you go Hastened. Then like more magic D. But then the problem is you're going to be squishy versus magic because you only have 50 magic D in your entire build. So like you can't go Hasten there. But then if you don't go Hasten, then you're not going to be useful in a team fight. So that's the problem. So maybe the solution actually is to go a double Phys D, like double defense here. So like one of these two, maybe Spirit Robe. I mean, you do get defense from Phalanx, so I don't know. I'd probably go like this. I don't know. Solo binding is just like, I don't know. See, this is the problem. The solo binding is just so bad of a mana. So you do like this. Like this is like the ugliest thing I've ever seen though. You could do druids, essentially. But it's like getting druids early game is not going to do much damage. And prophetic was nerfed. That is the major issue. Maybe you just go spikes, honestly. I think this wouldn't be too bad. You have 144, like this would be pretty decent, honestly. Spikes is weird on the mana though. It's just like weird. Ancient Science or Midgard. So, I mean, but this build is, you know, very experimental, so only try it if you're experienced and, you know, you want to try something new. I always recommend going TP and Blink up a mana. I would never not go Blink. You can go Blink and Beats if you need both of them and skip TP. But I would always recommend going TP. Yeah, I did King Arthur. This is the King Arthur build. Why Compassion? Because when your teammates take damage, it'll extend your ult in team fight. Someone asked for Hades. I'll just do a quick Hades. Hades is dog shit though, sadly. I would not recommend. Painted or Revenge Shroud into Warlocks. Into honestly Rage Quit, because like he's dog shit, but probably E-Staff. Or no, probably Breastplate. Then like Divine or like Poly, probably. Poly's really good on Hades. Probably a decent build. The Sainted gives you a lot of defense, so not a bad build here. Biting over spikes on who? King Arthur. Yeah, I did have another build going spikes. I did say I like spikes a lot, but this build is solid. Maybe you could go spikes over binding. Like maybe you could go like Genji's into spikes into binding. I'm not really sure, but I mean all these are pretty good. It's kind of just whatever. And then Sobek I think is kind of solid. I recommend playing Sobek if you want to be a fucking C-word. Red is extremely good on Sobek, as is Spikes. They also buff the fuck out of Sobek. Going E-Staff. Problem is you're pretty squishy with this build, but it's okay. Then you go like this, probably. Or Mid-Guardian Mill, or Binding. So I'd recommend. And then honestly, I like selling kind of gem, honestly. Like sometimes. The E-Staff is really good on Sobek. Hades, no problem. And Artio build is the same thing on probably or similar. Fucking hate Artio. Maybe you could do something like this. My first kiss went a little like this. Any of these three. Probably blinding, but yeah, any of these three kind of works. Those YouTube shorts. Oh, I will. I'm uploading this to YouTube, and I'm gonna cut these, or I'm gonna like add chapters so you can go to, you know, whichever god you want. But these are like the main soul laners. Oh, we'll do Ravana as well. Ravana's a really good soul laner as well. Redstone the meta? Yeah, I think Redstone's probably still not great. Bluestone or Axe is good on him. Sigil's even okay too, but I like Bluestone just for clearing the wave. But I do feel kind of squishy with Robin when I go Bluestone, so that's kind of a problem. Usually I like this into this because it procs on his 3 and it's kind of nice, but you don't have to go spikes. Can go this. I like this as well because you just dive and kill people pretty easily. And then here maybe this. And then this wouldn't be too bad. Bit low on magic D, but it's not that bad. We're gonna do some damage with this build. You go a pretty troll build, which is gonna be this into this into this into this. This is kind of a troll build. I would not like recommend this fully. This is the damage build right here. And like kind of whatever else you want last. I guess it's kind of the same build just with Arc Druids. But yeah, I mean this is a decent build. You can also go the usual what we've been building earlier. You can go this as well. This isn't too bad. You're just gonna do probably little damage until you get to late game. And you can like slap on like a beat stick maybe or chin size or something. Or this. Or spikes, whatever you want. Relic daggers good in solo lane. I think they're solid. It's pretty good on tier. In fact, what was my tier build again? You can go on tier. I wouldn't recommend you do it if you're inexperienced, but you can go Relic Dagger on tier. SoloOrTroll, any picks? They nerf SoloOrTroll's healing. So it's primarily a good damage item. Exclusive, yeah. Like it's solid on tier. It's just like it's not gonna be fantastic. Like this is something you can do. This isn't too bad. But I don't know. I used to like Relic Dagger a lot more than before. Like another janky build with tier would be like like this into this to like this and this. It'd probably be backwards actually. Probably this and then fuck knows what else. Probably like this. Not the worst build of all time, but not the greatest. Only do this if you're a madman and you're experienced at tier. Anyway, these are all the builds for most gods. I left a few out like Thor, Kamazoth maybe, but honestly, I wouldn't bother playing them. Or I would just go full damage, or like Mentor Spikes maybe. Regrowth, yeah, you could get regrowth, I guess, but you do no damage though with this build. If you go regrowth, you're gonna do no damage. And moon speed diminishes. Like you can do it for fun, but like if you want it to actually do well, it's not gonna be that great. Like, Cthulhu is kind of the same. Like I'll give a general build for Cthulhu. Like Tainted and like Pythags is probably good, and like you always want to go like breastplate, Midgard, probably breastplate into this actually, and then Midgard. Like this would be pretty good in Cthulhu, and then E-Staff always. Every magical you go, you always want to go E-Staff. So is trans still good on solos like Guan? Honestly, I think no. Because I think you need to build more defense because Prot Shred and Tank Shred are a lot better this patch because they buff, they buff 40% pen, they buff E-Staff, everybody's buying Sunders, people are even buying Frenzies, Hunters are pretty good right now, XE got buffed, so I mean, like building trends doesn't feel like good also because the power is nerfed. Like it actually physically like does not feel good. Like there's like a certain feeling when you build items. Like you're like, wow, this feels great. But I don't get that feeling when I build trans. But if it works for you, I recommend doing whatever works for you. But it just I don't like. I used to love trans. I would go trans every game on Guan Yu. Last season, like I would just go like Tainted. I'd be like Tainted, trans, regrowth, then like heart ward, then guard to be good now, and then like this would be like a really good build. Like it might still feel okay. It's just not gonna feel fantastic. Yeah, like it's not like this got nerfed by 30% damage, and you got nerfed like by 50%, like 15% otherwise. So it's not gonna feel fantastic. Anyway, yeah, these are pretty much all the builds. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, please type in the comments any kind of build you would like to see from a specific god. And I will try my best to answer you in the comments and give you a decent build. And please remember a few closing thoughts. Builds are always subject to change, especially when a new season is out and people are learning the meta, learning what's good, what's bad. There's buffs, nerfs, bug fixes, all kinds of things. People figure out which gods are like, maybe some certain gods are better than others, and then the build changes because a certain build on that god is better than, you know, like a certain build on a different god. So all the kind of things can change. So this is like a general build for 10.6. The date is 6/16, so around this time, pretty solid. And also one thing I just want to say is that and maybe I should say this in the beginning, but builds in Smite highly dictate what gods are good and what the meta is, and how good a character is in general. And like builds are extremely important, and also if you go from a pretty mediocre build into a really good build, your play is going to be a lot better. Like even if you hit the same abilities, play the same way, your build is going to be so much better. Or you're going to win more games, you're going to play better. Pretty much every single person who has asked me for a build has always come back and be like, wow, I went like 12-0, and like I just won this game, thank you so much for helping the build or whatever, you know. And you know, I think builds are a massive part of Smite and a massive part of like doing good. So that's one thing I'd recommend. Is just you know, not even from me, just from other streamers as well, just looking at their builds and maybe copying them or asking them nicely why they built it, and then applying it to your game, because builds are extremely important. So yeah, those are some closing thoughts. Again, let me know in the comments any feedback, if anything was, if you have any improvements, any improvement ideas for the video, maybe any criticism, or if you want a build. So thank you for watching. Have a great day.